Good morning to all of you this wonderful Wednesday morning, and a special good morning to you, Diego.
Oh, good morning.
Hello. So, time for a vlog might be a bit shorter now. Oh, I see Mats is joining as well, so he will just set up his mic. Before we begin with the content of the course, we could have just a look of things happening outside of the course. And good morning, Mats. And
Morning.
this is maybe more aimed at you that are near Kalmar. But I could give a hint that for those of you who are a bit curious of the company Hat Store, that is a Kalmar-based a company that sells hats, baseball caps, things like that on the web for all of Europe and the world actually. So it's a really exciting company. They are having an IT pub at their store, hat store, at next Wednesday, the 20th. So if you want to join, there might be some opportunities still. It's a set number of people that can go, but go and search for Kalmar Science Park. So search for Kalmar Science Park and you will find in the calendar the 20th of September, you will find an IT pub at Hat Store, and go in and fill in the form that you want to attend, and mark yourself as a student in the drop-down, because there are a reserved set of numbers for students. So please do that. I will be there, and probably a lot of other people. So join. That was that. So going back to the course. Last week, Diego, you were in Kalmar for the workshop at Wednesday. Wasn't too many people that showed up, I understood. So
Yes, there were a couple. Then the other two couldn't, or three couldn't attend for some reason.
Yeah. And today there were only 2 thumbs up for attending campus today. So you will probably stay in Växjö today, right?
Yeah.
So the workshop will be in Zoom for everybody. Last week, just tell us, Diego, what happened last week? What was the aim for last week, and what are we supposed to look at this week?
During last week, we created the first code, the first IAC for Terraform. So we have now our infrastructure as code. That is a set of TF files that can provision the infrastructure. So this was creating networks, subnetworks, routers, machines, so instances, security groups, and opening the ports that we need, and some public IPs as well. So we stopped there, and we did not configure what we want to install in the machine. So this was still as 2 weeks ago. If we want to install something, we have to connect and install, or write a script that installs. So this is the part for this week.
Yeah. And should we have a look at, I can actually show the course webpage. Could have prepared that one. 2DV. I saw there was some scheduling discussions. I will have, or is it sorted, or then otherwise I will have a look at it. It sounded like
at night, I think it was solved.
Yep.
But I don't know if it was solved during the afternoon. Yeah.
So this one, that is correct. So there might have been a link to the schedule elsewhere as well.
Yeah, in the 2022, there is another link to the schema, and there is only one item. So it looks like the message from the student.
So exactly. So like that. So that's the old schedule. So that is probably linked somewhere or were linked somewhere. But if you use that link, you should get the schedule for this year, as long as you are not in the 2022 version of the course. Yeah, so course week 2, and today, as you said, and now we are starting to look at automating the configuration with Ansible, because last week was Terraform for everything, right?
Yeah, well, for some part, yeah, only Terraform. We didn't configure anything.
No.
We paid attention only to provision machine infrastructure.
Yeah. So, and I think we had this discussion maybe last year, because this week we will start looking at Ansible, and that is a tool, as you said, for provisioning the machines or setting up, like making the machines look and behave the way we want. And there is some kind of overlap between Terraform and Ansible, right? So some of the things you can do in Terraform, you could also do in Ansible, and vice versa, right?
Yeah. Yes, there are some parts that we could choose. And in the last part of the workshop this afternoon, we will see how to put them to work together. So actually, the Terraform will call Ansible, and we will decide the line of what is going to configure Terraform and what will be configured by Ansible. So we will not connect to the machine with Terraform. We will leave everything for Ansible, everything that needs a connection to the machine.
Yep. Good. So is there something you want to show now, Diego? Sometimes
I
you
have some
planning.
slides similar to what they are in that video. Should I?
Yeah,
share
you can
my screen
share.
now?
You can share that. Yeah.
Okay. Present share screen. Now I'm going faster than last week. And if I press here, then.
Yep.
What do you see?
Yep. Perfect.
Correct. Okay. So this third week of the course, and we are going to see how to automate the configuration of our machines and install the applications that we want. So we will do it through infrastructure as code, as we did last week. So the theory is the same, has not changed. So it's continue with the theory of infrastructure as code. You got the links last week. If you have read all of them, you know you are aware of the theory and the reasons and benefits of why we do infrastructure as code. Perfect. Otherwise, continue this week. There is no new theory. And regarding the practice, this week we will get familiarity with a tool that automates and manages the software configuration. So this tool is Ansible, and it will execute after Terraform with still from our clean cloud account. We will try to, in a single click, first execute Terraform, and then that creates the infrastructure as last week, and then Ansible will configure that infrastructure. So the slide about the theory, nothing to say, same as last week. For this afternoon, we will use the Ansible tool. I will show some additional slides to introduce it in the first minutes. But if you can, during the morning, look at the website and install it, it could be quite good, because then in the workshop we can go all together executing the commands. So how to install Ansible? You see here the instructions, and when you see that dimension, the control node, this control node is your machine. So the same, your laptop, your desktop, the same where you have installed the Terraform. If it happens that your computer does not meet the requirements, then create an instance on CS Cloud, an Ubuntu instance, and then install it Ansible, and then it's 1 or 2 commands. Then you can
and just to comment on that, I mean, later on in the course, and Mats, you will have to say if this isn't correct, but if I remember from last year, I mean, we will kind of have this control node as a machine in CS Cloud, and that could be actually a good pattern for having those tools inside of CS Cloud on a separate machine that is used to provisioning other machines. So don't be afraid to do that if you like it. It's actually a good thing.
Actually, I think that we have also a container with Ansible installed for the GitLab continuous delivery. So it does not need to install Ansible every time that the stage executes. This is for you, Johan, not for this week, of course.
Yep.
Not for this week task. So yeah, we have some Ansible installs there in CS Cloud as well. Maybe machines, maybe containers. Yeah. So the infrastructure as code that we will write this week will be some files, and they are called playbooks. These playbooks contain the instructions that automate the software provisioning and configuration. So we install what we need to install and then configure before running it. These playbooks are written in YAML. I think that you are familiar with that syntax. And these playbooks, these YAML files, together with the Terraform files, will be our infrastructure as code in the end.
I don't remember if we actually have used YAML that much before. Terraform, what kind of format was that? I have forgotten. Is it
kind of JSON?
Kind of JSON, yeah. and I mean,
there are curly brackets around.
Yeah. And YAML is kind of JSON but for Python, right? Or is it not? I mean, it's kind of like Python in that YAML is sensitive for indentation, for instance. Which, if you are have used only JSON, you are not thinking about indentation too much. Maybe you try to do it nicely, of course, but in YAML, it's really important to indent things in the correct way. So be sure to be thorough in doing that. So, but it's a simple format, and it's a format that is quite often used in configurations. So it's just to get used to it.
Maybe we could
put we'll use it when it comes to Docker containers and so on.
Maybe we can put a link with the difference also with or the particularities of the Terraform language, because this is a question that comes every year, if it is if it is the same as JSON, and we need a link with a stable answer. So this afternoon, in the workshop this afternoon, we will create the infrastructure as code for the same that we did in the first week of the course with manual commands or scripts. So at least this is the compulsory part, which is we will install a software application, a web server. You can choose Nginx or Apache. I will start with Apache because I have the code ready, but I can also create an Nginx. We will see how to configure it, and we call the configuration of this web server something simple, like we will just change the port in which it is listening, and then we will put our website on that instance. So similar to what you saw the first week I had some scripts for Bash that install of all this and configure this. So you will see this week with infrastructure as code for Ansible.
And that is if we look at from day one in the program, basically you all had the 1DV026 course where we had created a machine for you, and but in that case we didn't have any bash scripts or anything for creating or installing Nginx, so you did basically everything the manual way. You went into the machine, you executed the scripts to install Nginx, you configured everything manually. And of course the next step of that is what Diego did last year with having scripts for that instead. And this is even another abstract layer of that we don't need the bash scripts in that way. We can do this with a tool like Ansible. So
this Ansible will provide the idempotency. So because in the scripts, if we execute more than once, maybe there were too many things listening imports, and then it crashed. So this, and they were not idempotent, the scripts that I showed. And instead, Ansible provides this property. Or at least we will use it in that way. Yeah, before the seminar, if it is possible, so the first task and the most important, to have Ansible installed. Then if you can try a couple of Hello World cases, like you follow this link, is the simplest case, so to at least test the first command to see if your installation works. You will see that there is a series of steps here, and you can skip 4A because step 4A creates so it goes to the machine and makes it accept your key, if I remember well. So you can skip it because when we created the machine with Terraform, it already accepts your key. So when you use the pen file, the machine should accept it without problems. Yeah, this will be quite easy, and it's step by step explain it. Then if you feel that this was easy, you can try to copy a file to the machines that we want to configure. Here is the instructions about the copy module in Ansible. This as first day will not be super simple to do, so don't worry too much, because this is the kind of documentation of Ansible, and we will see during the workshop how to use it, how to use it, the module documentation that are provided by Ansible. Then, so the goal of the week is, the compulsory goal is that you manage to do yourself what I will show in the beginning. So install a web server, configure it by changing the listening port, and put a website. Then if you feel that this is too easy and you feel confident and you want to practice more, we can have another workshop, or you can try to do the following and ask me if you have problems. So you can create 3 machines with Terraform. On 2 of them, you install a web application, the web application that you want, and I can provide you code of one of them, so you don't spend time with that. That listens to connections on some port, different from 80. For instance, the 8080. And on the 3rd machine, you install an Nginx that listens on port 80, so the default, and we configure it as load balancer for the other 2. So the connections will go only to the machine with the load balancer, and the load balancer will be in charge of distributing the load for the other 2 applications. And this under this constraint, so you use only one public IP. And this assign it to the load balancer, to the machine with the Nginx. The other 2 machines with the web application should have only private IPs. So this optional, in case that the first part is too easy and you want to get more experience during the week.
And to be super clear on this, you are not using the load balancer that is built into CS Cloud. In this case, you create your own load balancer. You use Nginx as a load balancer on one of the machines. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, I don't know if the load balancers on CS Cloud work well now, but
well, they kind of work. So we will use them later on. But yeah,
I didn't use them last year. But a couple, 2 or 3 years ago, when I tried them,
yeah, they're a little bit cumbersome. But when they work, they work. But they are hard to remove because there is. Yeah, we will get back to that.
Yeah. So some more links if you want to get more familiarity. Maybe you cannot read them today because there are already a couple of things to do. And the most important, install Ansible.
Yeah. Great.
Second, the Hello World case. With this, if you come with Ansible install and the Hello World case, you are in a very good position. If you have already tried further, maybe you get bored also doing the same.
Yeah. Splendid. So then that is for the workshop this afternoon in Zoom at 13:15, and then as you mentioned, I guess if someone gets in a lot of trouble, you give Diego a shout out before Monday, right? So you can have.
This is the usual process. What I saw on Wednesdays afternoon, you can try Thursdays and Fridays, and if by Monday you still have basic problems, which means that you will not make it for next Wednesday, then write on Slack and we prepare a session for question and answers. So in that session, I don't share a screen. It's mainly the student who shows their problems and we try to fix them.
Yeah. And I see that Matthias, you are writing something in Slack, so I'm will not round up yet. So if you have a question, maybe we will just wait for that question. Otherwise, let's see. Otherwise, we are kind of set for today, right? Anything else to add?
No, not from me.
No. And the question for Matthias might not show up yet, and then there he was gone. So okay, nice to see you all. Have a great week. Make sure to work with Terraform still and Ansible, just because you will need them for the rest of the course. So it's an important part, not just for the infrastructure part. It's for the whole of the course. Mats is saying something. You have something to say. Your mic is muted. Yes. Can't unmute. But I can't unmute either. No, you must unmute. Can't unmute guest because they choose to mute themselves, it says. So I don't know. I don't know. Nothing. No? Okay. I will cut the stream. That means cut the stream. We are done. Okay, so nothing to say. Good. Thank you, everybody, and have a nice weekend. Bye.